All right, hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Hawkes. This is your best life defined. How you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I've been doing good for a while. This is kind of surprising for me. Kind of almost freaks me out. It's like, wow, maybe this is working. It's working for me. I don't know. I used to fall off the cliff, fall into the pit about every 3 days. I'd be rolling along, and it was a series of highs and lows. There was never any in between where you're just like cruising along. It was always this like, okay, everything's great, I'm doing great, and then oh, life sucks. Why do I exist? Right? That ever happened to you? It used to happen to me a lot, and then I did something about it. I decided to stop looking at the dark side and start standing in the light. I'd spent most of my life, even after Sandy and I got married, I spent most of my life looking at how life sucked and how I was miserable based on the fact that somehow or another life was unfair to me because of my childhood and because of the things I had been through, right? And it was only after I decided to do something about it, instead of just crying about it and hiding behind my shields, Mr. Pissed Off all the time, and I just stepped outside that and said, hey, let's do it differently. Let's do something about this. So after my dad died in 2011, Sandy and I decided that we were going to step beyond our box. And it was scary as hell, I have to tell you. We spent a lot of time talking. There was a few tears, there was some arguing, there was some moments of doubt where we were just like, oh my God, can we do this? And even me, I mean, I'm pretty much an outside the box thinker, and I'm over here thinking, wow, because my original plan was to live on a sailboat. I thought, well, sailing's cool. Met a guy in prison, he was doing time. He said, hey, sailing's pretty cool. I've done it all my life. And so I get all excited about it, and I'm like thinking, wow. Didn't work out because I'm not a sailor. Didn't want to mess with the learning curve. Didn't want to get stuck at the equator with no wind. Right? There's a lot of drawbacks and unknowns. I mean, I'm pretty ballsy when it comes to going out and doing things, but I thought to myself, man, I don't know if Sandy's going to want to spend 7 days rocking and rolling in some storm in the middle of the ocean, right? So, but we started looking at what we were doing in our life, and we kind of decided we were running out of time. We have to do something about it. So understand, I know where you are. And this isn't as much about economic status. This isn't about the things you have and the amount of money you have. This is about the experience of living. How does it feel? How does it feel to wake up to your life? Are you excited? Are you tired? Are you dragging ass? Are you just like, another day? I remember days, I mean, when I worked construction, before I actually I figured it out, before I actually realized that my destiny was in my hands, right? Before I decided, you know what, I don't have to work for pennies. I don't have to just take what the world hands me. I can go after what I want. And when I went back to school and I changed careers, and then all of a sudden I got all inspired and became a self-defense instructor and a martial arts instructor, and I wrote a book on self-defense. And I mean, once I got that energy, that boost, that feeling of what it's like to be in one place and take charge of your life and say, okay, it's time for me to change something. And to do it, guess where I am? I'm on top of my world now. You look at your life, you wake up every day and you look around, and it's easy. That's the trap is, it's easy to be where you are. People say, well, no, that it isn't easy. I struggle every day. It's hard to live life. Yeah, but you don't have to think about it. Let's say you get up at 5:30 in the morning. It's a routine from the time you get up until the time you go to bed. And because you're familiar with the routine, guess what? A couple things happen. The first thing that happens is you accept it. Why wouldn't you accept the fact that you own a house, that you have all that crap, that you're in debt just like everyone else, that you have bills and cars and obligations that prevent you from making any other choice in your life? Why wouldn't you accept that as being how you're supposed to do it, given everyone around you is doing the exact same thing? There is certainly no one out there saying, hey, or there's a few people, I guess I'm one of them, but there isn't anybody out there waving a flag going, hey, this is probably not the best plan. Obviously, everyone thinks it's the best plan. It's funny, Dave Ramsey is a millionaire. He's a millionaire simply based on the idea that we all know to be true, and that is, don't go in debt, your life will be better. Don't go in debt, you'll have more choices. Don't go in debt and you'll be free. Now, this is something we all know. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you in debt? What the hell? That doesn't make any sense. That equation doesn't work. Now, why don't we take action? Well, the big excuse, well, I'm happy with my life. That's the argument I get over and over again when I tell someone, hey, listen, so tell me again, why did you choose this? Well, I love this. I love this. This is great. But if you take inventory of the things that person does every day, the majority of things we do every day, it has nothing to do with enjoying what we do every day. You enjoy not having enough time to do anything except for run from one point to the next point all day long? I mean, it's sad when the highlight of our life is a 12-pack of beer and watching the news, right? That's it. Fall asleep in the recliner. I don't know how that goes today, sitting in the corner of your couch, scrolling your phone, looking at the fake stories of how everybody's life is amazing. The question we need to ask ourselves, or the thing that I'm bringing you to, is this. When are you going to do something about it? Because you can do the Facebook thing. I don't care. Everybody's life is perfect on Facebook, but real life looks a lot different, right? You can continue to believe the same story as everyone else, and that's, oh, this is great. Or you can do something about it so that you can actually say that's true. So you can actually live that story, right? Well, let's face it, it's not great earning $4,000 a month and giving $4,000 a month away. That's not great. Great would be earning $4,000 a month and giving $1,000 a month away in bills. Obligations. Don't have any mortgages, don't owe any car dealers for your vehicle, don't have any vehicle loans, right? Right? Imagine what that would be like. Imagine how much freedom you'd have. You could say, if you were debt free, just say you hit the goal of being debt free, like Dave Ramsey's making millions on, to tell you what you already know. Is he telling you how to do it? Yeah, he's telling you how to do it just like everyone else. Do something about it. What would you do about it to be debt free? What could you do to be debt free? We travel all over the country, and let me tell you something. Starbucks has it going on. It's a cup of coffee. But they put a fancy name around it. Instead of calling it a large, they call it something else. And there's all this culture and this identity with everyone. And I drive by these Starbucks, and no matter where I am in the country, guess what? There's a line of vehicles most of the day. All day long. People just going after it, right? $4 a cup of coffee when you can brew one for 20 cents at home, for 10 cents at home. If you want to be debt-free, you got to do what it takes to be debt-free. And what is that? It's stop spending, earn more. Stop spending, earn more. Now, you can buy Dave Ramsey's book, and you can do that, or you can just do something about it yourself. That's the issue. Now, where the problem comes in, and this is where it all comes back to the same thing, and that is, how do you find the motivation to take action in any given direction towards a goal? It comes down to the story. It comes down to being inspired by what the goal is. See, I'm going to tell you right now, half-assed goals never work. That guy who says, I want to lose 5 pounds, he'll never lose 5 pounds. You know why? 5 pounds isn't big enough. 5 pounds doesn't mean enough to him for him to actually be consistent enough to make it happen. If you're not grabbing a hold of big goals that create amazing images in your mind, amazing story around how it's going to be to get there, you will never have the motivation and the inspiration to take action. And that's where you have to do something. So what do? Comes down to the story. Tell yourself a story. Don't have to tell anyone else. Tell yourself an amazing story, right? And then go after it. Find the reason to take that action. Be inspired. It puts fuel in your tank, right? See, there's nothing that bothers me more than someone, and I've said this before, and it seems a little callous, but I want to restate this because it's really important here. There's nothing more frustrating to me as what I see is I'm motivated. I'm motivated to do more. I'm not sitting back. There's more beyond this. In 10 years, you're going to look back and you say, damn, and he did what? Because I'm just not stopping. I'm inspired by this whole process, this creative process, and the impact it has on people around me. And more than that, the impact it's having on my life, right? But if you don't do something about where you're at, and I tell you, well, this is how you can do it. You can build a story around it or pick something great that's defined by who you are, not what the world wants you to be, inspired by who you are, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, and then take action on it every day. But in order for you to take action, you've got to be motivated to do so, and in order for you to do that, you've got to find inspiration. And where does the inspiration come from? It comes from the story. All action begins with thought. The accomplishment of any amazing goal begins as an idea. Nothing more than that, this thought, hey, I can be a podcaster. Hey, I could be a deputy sheriff, or I could go to work at the Department of Corrections or at the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Really? Yeah, maybe I could. See, I used to think it was a fault. I'm an idea guy. I've had so many ideas. Just ask me. I've done so many things in my life with so many grandiose ideas about it, and people often thought I was crazy. But as it turns out, no matter where those grandiose ideas about how amazing I could be actually originated, what they did was they were the perpetuator of my success. They supported my success because it's the story that inspires us to achieve greatness. That's where it starts. And then, of course, you add a win in there. You get this win. All right, you put that effort forward, and you're grinding it, and you just want to quit, and you think maybe I suck, and then guess what happens? You get a win. And you're like, oh yeah, I got a follower. that's the way it is with my YouTube channel right now, because I don't promote my YouTube channel. It's just a video record of what we're doing right here. So I figured, I guess if they want to watch it, they can, but I don't promote it, right? But I've got like 19 followers on my YouTube channel, right? And I'm like, I don't get depressed about it anymore because I realize that's not my emphasis. It doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter to me. I don't need any money that Facebook or that any of this is going to generate. If it happens to generate cash, it's a plus. That's not my focus. My focus is if I get one person to be able to change their life and change directions and find the motivation to accomplish something they haven't done, and more than that, to change their thinking about what success is, about what happiness is, how to create it, right? Hell, I win. I've done something about it. I've done something about these masses of people who keep repeating the same actions, and then they sit back and go, why am I in debt? Oh my God, I can't escape the debt, right? If you want to change something about your life, you're the one that's going to have to do something about it. If you want to change something about your life, you're the one that is going to have to find the energy and the inspiration to say, you know what, I think I'm done with this. And just to remind you, change comes in two forms. It's either inspiration or it's desperation. For those of you who can capitalize on inspiration and you're inspired by who you are, and that's where that inspiration comes from, you will never be inspired because you watch a TV show or an ad on TV and the next thing you know, you rush out and you buy a $70,000 truck. You'll be happy that you got the truck until you have to pay for the tags or until you have to make the payments, right? But if you want to accomplish something, if you want to change something in your life, if you want to do something about the things in your life that you're not content with or you're not happy with, it starts by being inspired by what that's going to look like once you accomplish that goal. And you can paint that picture as big as you want. You can tell yourself the most amazing story you need to tell yourself, whatever it takes to get you off your butt, to realize and to embrace the idea that no matter whether you like it, you hate it, you love it, you don't, you're going to face that action. You're going to take that action in that direction on a regular basis. I'm almost at 365. This is podcast 355, right? I'm 10 podcasts away from reaching a 365 podcast goal in 365 days, give or take. I don't know. I got a conflict in numbers. There may be one way or the other. I'm not sure. But every day I have produced a podcast for the past year. That's a hell of a goal. You know what the story was around it? The story around it is that I'm going to be famous because of it. The story is that because I put this effort forward, that there isn't anything I will not be able to do. And when I look back in 10 years, I'll be able to say, hell yeah, that was the launch pad of this amazing life I live now. Right? What's that look like? You can't even imagine. There's not enough time in a podcast to tell you. If you're not happy about your life, even if you're happy, because that's the whole misnomer. Happiness is a consequence of accepting what you cannot change. So skip that whole idea about happiness while we're on that subject too, because as long as you find contentment, there's no reason to move, right? And there's two ways to find contentment. One is to actually achieve something that you dream of achieving that makes your life better. And the other action for contentment and happiness, the other thing you can do for contentment and happiness to achieve that goal is to simply accept where you are. And sadly, this is where most of us are. Think about what you can change in your life. Think about what you'd like to change in your life. If it's not possible, if it isn't going to happen, guess what? Chances are you've accepted where you are. So it's up to you to do something about it. Are you ready? I'm going to be here. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm not sure what this looks like after the 365, but I guarantee I'm not going away, and I'm going to keep working for me and for you, and hopefully you'll grab a hold of it. It all comes down to change something. Challenge yourself to do something that sucks. Find some endurance within yourself through an amazing story, and the next thing you know, you'll be wherever you want to be, because success is a skill set. I just wrote a brief article about that. Success is a skill set. If you're not immensely successful or consistently successful in achieving your goals, it isn't because you can't, it's because you don't have the tools. And the way you acquire those tools is you search them out, you hunt them out, and then you practice and you practice and you practice. And before you know it, guess what? You can do anything. And that's when you'll really see the success. You'll find the energy and the inspiration in your wins, right? So, hey guys, listen, I really appreciate you showing up. I'm feeling great about it. Like I said, I don't know where this thing is going, but life is treating me well. I am so glad I started this. I remember marching back and forth in the RV telling my wife, I can't do it. I don't know what to say. Obviously, I've fixed that. Thank you for showing up every day. Let's not forget the kindness. And as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.